I was about to make a bad pun politically with our first topic here on hand, but I will refrain from that. So, the last few weeks we've really kind of dove into these big businesses buying all these little businesses, and it seems to be, at least in the journalist news, they're kind of looking at Ubisoft being next on the chopping block. So, news article of Ubisoft kind of saying, no, no, we are planning on remaining independent, even though the industry is wondering who is going to acquire it. But they really want to keep those Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon and all those franchises independent in their own little company. Josh, what do you think? Is it going to stay independent?
Um, I honestly don't know. It could pretty. Eh, yeah, I have no clue. I
I
don't have an
I'll
opinion on this.
I'll
I
jump
don't
in
know.
here. I think it will stay independent. I think moves that we've seen in the past where Ubisoft is picking up games not necessarily um in there that were like published by them, and I think they've done a good job of trying to keep their own platform. While most of their games are on Steam, they have their own platform. I think they've made it clear over the past few years that they're trying to create kind of their own platform. I don't think it's going to be that way. I don't think Ubisoft's going to become a dominant platform, but I think they're going to do well in the case of staying independent.
And just to
I
specify, when you mean platform, you mean kind of like their own like
like
Launcher.
game
launcher.
library.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they've done well with that, and I think for them
You talking
staying
about
independent.
UPlay?
Yeah. So I think it's good for them though because I think they have strong titles, and I think for the gaming world it's good that they stay independent. I think everyone buying everybody is. We've seen in the past, I don't know, year, maybe 2 years, there really haven't been releases that have been successful. A lot of games, big title games over the last couple years have been the biggest flops, which we're not accustomed to seeing in the gaming world. And I think that's because gaming companies are owning too much and there's not enough uh, market competition for them, at least in their genres. It seems like each company kind of monopolizes a certain genre, and then we've talked about it with EA and sports games. There's not enough competition between companies, and it kind of creates this less than optimal game when it releases.
We know
And
what's interesting about that, like on the flip side, though, is that like talking about launchers themselves. Steam, I feel like, has been the monopoly when it comes to that. Epic Games has been able to compete a little bit now that they have all that Fortnite cash to throw at all these other game developers to make their game free on their launcher. But like, really seemed like no competition for them didn't really bother them. It like gave them the revenue to just keep making Steam great. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Like Walker, what do you think of in regards to the status of the Steam
Yeah.
launcher versus other
So
launchers?
I've been waiting because I've got a lot of stuff to unload for Ubisoft. But so Steam as a whole, you can get all these games through Steam, and you have to launch them. You can launch them through Steam, and it'll launch the Ubisoft. That's not really a big thing. I guess I would consider Epic Games slightly a competitor, but not really, because you can still launch all the other games off Epic Games, or off Steam, except obviously games that are owned specifically by
Right.
Epic Games, like Fortnite. Um, and if you get like a game, like, because Epic gives away free games, then it launches through. Actually, no, I believe it is whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I think Steam is like the one thing. It's not. You're not gonna go somewhere else. You're always gonna go to Steam because it is the biggest selection. And
I
most of
think
them
we're yeah, go ahead.
they work together with the other companies. Like I said, because you can launch like an Assassin's Creed game, and it will just like launch with the Uplay stuff.
Which sucks. I feel like Ubisoft literally has the worst launcher, maybe
So
next
yep,
to
I
like
was gonna
EA
say that
Origin.
Ubisoft
That's what I wanted
has
to talk about.
Ubisoft has the worst launcher of all of them. If you try and launch a game, it takes 4 or 5. You have to click yes like 4 different times in order before the game launches. The actual in-game like overlay is horrible. Nothing makes sense. They change it about every 3 months. Nothing stays consistent. They can't find a decent like setup for their launcher. It's really, really not good.
When I downloaded play Assassin's Creed Unity a few years back, like I had to go on a 3-hour tirade to finally figure out what I needed to disable, which was just this small little feature in Uplay to actually finally like reload my game save that I hadn't used in a couple years. And yeah, it was just awful. And I think
Yeah,
we're
we
finally
should.
seeing the regression of these launchers. Like Bethesda recently, I think in the last couple weeks, finally decided to close their launcher and just exclusively use Steam. So, I mean, I don't know, like that could mean a warning sign for these other companies that are attempting to use launchers and it's just not able to, compete with the juggernauts.
So I
Besides,
think we need real quick to clarify the difference though, is it's not that necessarily the launchers we're concerned with, because the launchers don't really control the quality of game that comes out. The launchers are simply a platform to access the game. Whereas these purchases that we've talked about are mostly the developers of the games, which is where I see the issue is the developers have too much control of a specific market, and that's why the games that have been coming out lately are kind of flopping
yeah,
because they don't have that competition
I don't
developer to
think
developer.
the launcher is a problem. It's just
Exactly.
another way of having the game. It's because of the way that the game works is you have to launch it with something else. That's not the problem. Although Ubisoft's actual like system is fucked up. It's
Yeah.
really bad.
It's bad.
But like Origin is because that's where the EA games are and they can't and they have moved them to Steam, but it's just another way around. But yeah, Carson's right. It's because there's too much control. Also, I don't think Ubisoft will be bought because they have Rainbow Six Siege, which is fairly successful, but since it'd be like a competitor to a Black Ops and such or Destiny, you don't want to. You'll focus on one or the other and you'll kind of kill it off. So it'd have to be someone else, and I don't see anyone else wanting to buy Ubisoft.
Unless
But
they're
they
okay with something dying. I mean, that's kind of like how the trend has always been with Apple products is they will have like maybe 2 or 3 items that are kind of doing the exact same thing. I mean, they had like 5 different iPods and iPod touches going at one point. And they're kind of just like, well, let's see what comes out on top here and we'll kill the 2 weakest links and kind of move on. So and then you have that development team that like if you do decide to like get rid of a game service like Rainbow Six Siege versus like a Destiny, you just move those developers over to the other team.
but
I think that's actually why Bungie was recently bought by Sony, was like they wanted that. I can't remember the like the live service type of format Destiny is. They wanted senior developers to be now in their ecosystem to make more games like that. So I don't know if
I
there's maybe an advantage for that.
I don't think in the world that so the Apple thing that you described makes sense if it's already owned by Apple. But if they were to go out and buy Samsung, let's just say that, and they take those phones and they like just stop making the Samsung, that's not going to work. They can't just stop making one thing because that would bring up a lot of shit, and it would not be a
And I
good
think we
thing.
need to be careful with this discussion because it's two very different industries, and you get into the Apple discussion, that's becomes
Well,
monopolization
it's just the
issues.
relevancy
Yeah.
of it's just the relevancy of buying something and letting something else die off. You can't do that when it comes to games because you can't buy out someone else's game and then kill them because that would plummet you. That's the problem that Ubisoft has is that they don't like listen to the Assassin's Creed games have been kind of shitty recently. Their service with their games and with people that are trying to get stuff fixed are problematic. The company as a whole is problematic. It's kind of moving its way towards the Activision thing. It's not as bad, but it's not a great company. So you would need the reason it would be bought is out would be to fix the problems within the company. I wouldn't necessarily say it's because of the games that they bring to the table.
Hmm. I think I just want to kind of throw an example of maybe a similar way of kind of how I'm looking at it. Maybe not necessarily like killing a game, but maybe changing how it's going to be released, which is kind of a similar topic that we have for this week, in which Call of Duty is now fully announced to not be a game a annual game release like we've known it for the last like almost 2 decades. It's been confirmed that there will be no Call of Duty this upcoming year in 2023. And, I think maybe that's what you're kind of alluding to, Walker, is that, they're not going to be here to just say, all right, it's bought, now it's dead. But instead, all right, it's bought. We've seen this just kind of burn out with having to buy the game every single year. Let's make some quality games this year and let it live for at least another additional year after it's made. Josh, how are you looking at with the fact that a new Modern Warfare might actually have longer than a year life to it?
Yeah, this makes me very happy because now, well, like what you said, they're listening to the community now, and this is only gonna make a better COD. Like every year, they've been trying to like put out whatever they could within the short amount of time that they had, like maybe 2 years that they work on it. Um, and this is just gonna make it so much better because then I think hopefully all of the studios will collab and they'll just take the best elements from each game that kind of made it good and then combine it into like one good Call of Duty and then not release another Call of Duty for maybe like 2 or 3 years after that, so that one can just like so that they can put all their focus into that and make sure that that is like the best game it can be. So it's definitely super good news for any Call of Duty fan. And I know a lot of people are excited about that.
And you know what's exciting about it, and I'm excited about it too because I will probably buy this new. I was probably going to buy the new Call of Duty either way because it's Modern Warfare 2, and I really enjoyed the Modern Warfare that they did. What was that, 2019 Modern Warfare?
Mm-hmm.
And now they've got 2022 Modern Warfare 2. I'm excited for it just because I enjoyed the last one they made, and I hope they do a good job with this one as well.
Do you think
But
it's a guarantee now?
it makes me, it ensures me to buy it essentially. I was on the fence a bit. Yeah, I was on the fence a bit when we talked about it last time.
Yeah,
and
I think this last podcast, I think both you, me, and Walker were all like, I mean, there's still probably a few different things we were kind of worried about in regards to like how it'll perform, how the balancing will be, the memory size and everything. But yeah, I'm with you. I think this is more of an assurance that this is the game to be bought.
because I know that like I can take a break from this game and come back to it and it'll still be relevant, and which still was a case when you have these annual releases. You can take a small break and then come back and it's still relevant. But if you take a break towards the time, like towards that end of that 1 year mark, like if you play the game from release for like 8 months straight, right, and you're like, all right, I'm going to take a little bit of time off. Well, by the time you get back into the game, everyone's already focused on the new one, and it's like, let's get the new one,
Yeah.
even though and it hasn't come out yet, and everyone's already hyping it up, and you're just like, I just want to play this one, and the player count usually stays around for a bit, but then the game slowly dies off. I think it brings more longevity to the game, especially for a more casual Call of Duty player. I'd say I am definitely more of a casual Call of Duty player now. I used to play it all the time and grind it out, but now I'm definitely more on the casual side of Call of Duty, and I think it brings better value to people in that casual kind of market.
For sure, more bang for your buck. Walker,
So-
you
Exactly.
more assured on this?
So the what, Vanguard?
Yep.
Yeah, so Sledgehammer made Vanguard. So the thing is, Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Modern Warfare are those are the name games. Those are what those are. Whereas what the one Sledgehammer would develop, which was what I think they did Advanced Warfare. They did Vanguard. I know that.
They
don't have
World War II.
And they did World War II. They don't have a set game. They don't make a Call of Duty enter name here. They don't have the Modern Warfare, the Black Ops thing. So I think what this means is it means we're only going to see Black Ops and Modern Warfare games from now on. I think with this Vanguard release and after World War II, I think they're realizing that, hey, these are not as successful as our name games in Modern Warfare and Black Ops. They're going to focus on those two, and now they're Warzone. I think that's what more of this move is.
Yeah, I'm curious because if it is, I think you're right. I think it is going to be now just like the mainstays and maybe not even like updates to like the number. Maybe they just say like Modern Warfare Season 2, like very much like a Fortnite thing. So Josh, you're kind of alluding to like the three different teams now basically working together all at the same time. Like how would that look? Like is one team just going to be exclusively on Warzone, or they can combine them and they're just going to have like certain sectors within all three of them doing each part of these games? Like does anyone have an
Yeah,
idea in
what I
regards to that?
think is going to happen with that is I think all the people who worked on the same things but for the different games, I think they're all just going to be like a new collaborative team, and they'll include any, like, they'll work together, get new ideas, be creative. It'll allow them to do a lot cooler things if they all work together and
So
they're not trying to better better each
Mhm.
other each year, and like try to put a new system in that actually doesn't work. But they don't want to really copy all the systems that the game did before them, because then that would just be weird. But um, and what I've also heard is people, I've heard that people, like, once this Call of Duty comes out, like after there's like a gap, I've heard people be like, why don't they just call it Call of Duty? Like, it's
yeah,
the Call of Duty
I was gonna
game.
say, are you trying to allude? So they do work together, by the way. Like they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
I
two
know
of
they're
the
not
three.
like
So Treyarch,
strictly.
yeah,
Yeah, I know they're
Treyarch
not
and
strictly split,
Sledgehammer.
but
Sledgehammer basically comes in, I think, or I might be wrong on this, but it's like Treyarch, right, which is Black Ops. They get help from Sledgehammer, and then Infinity Ward gets help from Sledgehammer as well when they're making these games. So maybe, yeah, maybe it's a new type of, which I don't think they can do. Maybe kind of, but they've reset the Modern Warfare like campaign style. So I don't think they're just going to come out with a new game like entirely separate from these three, because that kind of seems that why would you reset the Modern Warfare,
yeah,
campaign? But yeah, so maybe they're now just gonna go. All three are gonna work on one game every 2 years.
Yeah, and I think that's really exciting for fans of Call of Duty, because I think what Josh was talking about, where they still have kind of that division of labor essentially, where there's certain people working on multiplayer, certain people working on campaign, and certain people working on Warzone or whatever. And I think it's going to be really cool because with an annual release, right? As soon as they release that game, they already have to devote a portion of their team working on the next one, right?
Right.
And I think giving a greater time span between games allows them to keep a greater force working on the current game, and then kind of slowly start transitioning people to the next game. They don't have to start putting so much emphasis on the next game right as they release the current one. And I think that may be part of the issue. Is I think that with, especially with Modern Warfare 2019, I think they wanted to keep people working on that game so long, and I think that's where the issue comes in, is they want people working on the current game more than focusing on the next game. So then it seems almost rushed when the next game comes out, because they're trying to keep, let's say 75% on current game and 25% on new game. And then it's just too late when they're switching people over. So I think having a greater time period allows them to do that more
Mm-hmm.
smoothly. And another interesting thing is what Walker was talking about, or what someone was saying, is just calling it like the Call of Duty, right? And I think that could be a really cool branding thing for them, right? Instead of having to come up with all these creative titles or whatever, they can literally. I would be cool with them calling it like Call of Duty with whatever year it is, like Call of
hmm
Duty 22 sounds cool. Like I think that sounds cool. Um,
This is my prediction. And honestly, our conversation is almost just kind of like alluding to it. So, Call of Duty now going to be a Microsoft entity. I think the writing is on the wall in kind of regards to what they've done with their, bread and butter major franchise title, Halo. They've come out with what is essentially going to be a new game of service similar to Fortnite. It's
Huh?
hmm.
So my
Huh.
roommate
He
wanted to get in
agrees.
on the
He
podcast, I
agrees.
guess.
He's agreeing with what I'm saying here. You come out with like a base multiplayer game. I'm kind of thinking they just decided to, whatever was in the works right now, Modern Warfare, kind of a popular title. They're gonna release that, and then they're going to, in probably 2024, release like the Halo equivalent, Halo Infinite equivalent of Call of Duty, and then just like Fortnite, You bring in like seasons, new packs, new stuff, maybe tweak the multiplayer gleam a little bit, and then maybe every 3 years you kind of do this re-updated texture, maybe engine, some of the mechanics, and you go from there. And
New
it
campaign
lives like
missions.
that, just like what Carson's saying, like the Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't
maybe
know.
add like a few packs like that.
And to kind of touch on that too, I'm reading through this article. They may take a page out of that Halo playbook and make the multiplayer kind of free to play, is what it looks like. Because they're saying that there's
Well,
going to
that's
be
their Warzone is. They wouldn't do that. There's no way.
But
No.
it
No way.
said
No, no,
the
no, no, no,
report
no.
the report says that there will be a new free to play online title.
Yeah, the Warzone. There's a new Warzone coming out. Not Warzone season. Like there's a new Warzone, separate from this one that we have.
No, this sorry. In the report, it seemed, maybe I'm reading it wrong, and you can
Think you
reread
are.
it. But it seems that it's differentiating Warzone from this new title because
Yeah,
it's
because
this
it's
new
not
title is
Warzone.
unnamed. Okay.
Because it's not Warzone.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think he's
that's what they
referring to-
confirmed.
so like
no,
a
that's
free-to-
what they confirmed, that there's a new version of Warzone coming out. As in, it's not Warzone. It's a new something else. What I'm saying.
Like what
It's not going to
Carson's
be
saying,
It's
too.
not going to be multiplayer though.
I mean, who knows? Like
I'm putting my prediction on that. That's what I'm.
that's exactly what
my
I was
chips
saying.
on
That.
that.
was my prediction.
I'm about to be
was-
rich then. Ain't
I
no
mean,
fucking way.
I mean, would you have expected Halo Infinite to be free to play multiplayer?
No. I was
Kinda.
surprised
Like,
with that.
That and who owns Call of Duty but Microsoft now? I mean, I think like that's what Fortnite's doing. That is what Halo is now doing. I think that is what Call of Duty does. That's at least we'll see. I mean, 2024, 2025, who knows?
Yeah.
Josh, I think you were gonna say something prior to
One more thing about Call of Duty is I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's actually a like independent group of people making a mod for Modern Warfare 2. And it's like a basically like a whole client, but it basically combines weapons from every Call of Duty, all the maps, like all the popular maps, obviously, like perks,
Nuketown.
and like yeah, it basically takes all of the Call of Duties and puts them together, but in the Modern Warfare 2 engine, and it looks really fun. I've seen gameplay of it and stuff. It looks super fun. But now I kind of feel bad for these guys making this mod because, like, now that's pretty much what Call of Duty might become. It maybe, but this mod looks really cool. It's called SM2, and I think it might be free once it comes out. I haven't looked at that yet.
Ooh,
but
that's an incoming video.
But they have a website here. I can send it, but and they have some gameplay footage of what it's like, and it looks really, really fun. I'm definitely gonna play this when it comes out. All you have to do is like buy Modern Warfare 2 and then just install the mod, and it works.
I hear a video coming on then. That sounds awesome. Yeah. Interesting to kind of see the finally Call of Duty breaking out of the year cycle, unlike Pokemon, which already came out with a somewhat new title, very new format with Arceus, but now the big Nintendo Direct, or specifically Pokemon Direct from this past week, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, to be released this year with Generation 9 Pokemon. I feel like Walker is our senior expert when it comes to Pokemon here. Have you seen all the
Absolutely
reveal
not.
stuff?
Didn't even know this was a thing.
Oh my lord! I feel like you played Sword and Shield more.
I
most
played
than
Sword and
all of us.
Shield, but that doesn't mean that I followed anything else. I haven't even bought the new game.
You're
when
an
was
older,
the last?
older
When was the
Pokemon.
last gen that was released?
Would have been Sword and Shield. So
No, well, was okay. So Sword and right, yeah, I guess. But that was like 3 years ago. So,
I'm excited
I
for it.
mean, sure,
Gameplay
whatever.
still
I don't know,
looks
it's
like
just a new Pokemon.
The graphics still look.
No, the
like
graphics look
not-
improved than Arceus.
Oh yeah, improved from Arceus, but still like, dude.
If you watch the trailer, I laughed so hard at the windmills because the frame rates for this trailer, and I guess kudos to
like
Game Freak
15
for showing,
frames.
in game, but good God, was it was struggling. Oh my lord, they need a Switch Pro to work on or something because the assets are chugging, and the game hasn't even been released yet. So, but I mean, that's the thing is like Pokemon fans don't care. They're not like the jaded COD, at least casual COD fans now, where it's like, all right, you need a few more years. Like people just buy this stuff up.
Because you got to keep up with it. If you miss,
Yeah.
like, because I've fallen into this. I love Pokemon, but I've not played the last few like I used to play the first ones,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I'm so far behind. Like, I'm not only on lore, but like with just Pokemon in general. Like, I don't know who half these fuckers are. When I'm looking at, I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't know what this is, and it feels weird, because I used to know, I used to be able to see any Pokemon, and I would know what that Pokemon was, what type it was, what it did. And now I look at some of these newer Pokemon because I just haven't played the games, and I'm like, I feel lost.
I mean,
But
so what? This is 9th generation from 1996.
Yep.
I mean, that's 9 generations in 16. Well, if it releases in 23,
No, it's this year.
It's this year?
It's this year, which
late
I was
2022.
baffled by. I was
So wait,
like,
hold on. What is Arceus then? What is that? Is that? Oh, that's yeah, okay, never mind. That game is from that timeline, I remember. Okay, so that's this year. So but yeah, so that's 16 years for 9 generations. Yeah, I mean, I guess they could have done a new generation every. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think that people don't want to everything to be released super, new all the time. But I liked I liked Sword and Shield. I liked that and what they did with the game and like the Gigantamax Pokemon and how everything looked. And I will be honest, Sword and Shield definitely was like miles above graphically than Legends of Arceus or whatever. That looked weird, but I mean,
Sword and Shield was like actually pretty decent.
it's been
graphics.
it'll be 3 years since that thing came out, so I think it's all right in terms of timing. I think it's that bad.
I don't think
Well,
the
that's a
timing.
good
I don't
point.
think the timing is bad. I think Pokemon does a good job of like with their new generationally releases. I just think it's just like a personal thing for me. It's like I haven't kept up with it, so I feel behind.
But
But I think they do a pretty good job of like
they've
spacing out new generations.
they've definitely run out of ideas when it comes to Pokemon. Because
Yeah.
I remember specifically, I forget what it's called, but it's an apple and it's a dragon type Pokemon. I don't know how. I'm looking at the new starter Pokemons. You got Sprigatito,
Bruh.
Fuecoco, and Quaxley, which are basically the grass type, which is the first one I said, just looks like a Sphinx, right? That electric type Pokemon. Fuecoco just looks, well, it looks like an apple with legs and a tail. And Quaxley is just a duck. Like, there's no creativity. I'm sure you could find other Pokemon that look exactly. Actually, the duck one looks like Fetch or Farfetch'd, the duck Pokemon with a piece of a leek in its hand. So in terms of that, they ran completely out of ideas. But I mean, other than that, I might play it. See, I remember when it comes out, and I go, oh, I'll buy this. Weed Cat, Pepper Dino, and Pompadour Duck.
Wait, there's Weed Cat?
That's what they're dubbing the names. Weed Cat, Pepper Dino, and Pompadour Duck. Yeah, I don't know. This was sprung on
Dude,
me.
they should make DMT Dino.
Oh my god.
Okay.
What?
Well.
What? Huh?
So moving on from a game that releases annually and apparently multiple times in a year, anyone else looked into, excited for, going to play, or started playing Eldin Ring?
Nope.
Because I've heard a lot of good things about it. One of my teammates wants me to get it so we can play it together, but I never played the Dark Souls games to actually play Dark Souls. When we would play Dark Souls when I was in high school, it would be a group of our friends, and we would be hanging out and just having some fun and make like stupid looking characters and just do things that we thought would be funny in the game. So I never actually played a Dark Souls game, but with the amount of gameplay I've watched of it so far, not only does it make me want to get this game, it makes me want to try and go back and play the old Dark Souls games because it looks great. It looks challenging, like very challenging, but still fun and like completable. And one of the things that I found cool was we were talking in Discord yesterday with a friend of ours who is playing the game, and he was saying that with all of the people he's talked to, none of them have said the same thing twice. And the cool thing is like there's no necessary storyline, like no direct line of bosses that you have to fight. Or maybe there is a direct line, but then you can also branch off of it. But it was cool because he was saying like, oh, he was talking to his buddies. He was but he was talking to his buddies, and he was like, oh, have you guys fought in the big pumpkin man or whatever? And none of them knew what he was talking about. And then it was the same thing. They were talking about bosses that they'd all gone and fought, and he had no idea what they were talking about. So I think games like that are really cool, and I think it's really refreshing to see a game. I was talking about this earlier. With a lot of the big title games have kind of flopped lately. But it's refreshing to see a game, a fairly big title, fairly large title game be successful, which I think is definitely refreshing with the past couple of years we've had of games.
And what's different about Elden Ring from Dark Souls or like some of those Souls games is in Dark Souls, like you always have a path that you're following. It's not like Elden Ring in the sense that you can go around and kind of like do whatever you want. It's kind of like it's kind of like Breath of the Wild in the sense that like you have some objectives, but you can pretty much go anywhere and do whatever you want, and then like you have whatever you have to fight the boss, or you can like find some really good equipment that maybe other people wouldn't find before you fight like the boss, which is pretty cool. But it also depends on if you like that kind of game, because I was watching Summit 1G on Twitch, and he just rage quitted so hard, and he was like, dude, this game sucks. I'm so used to like having Souls games where I don't like to like do this and that. But so it's like if you have like that thing where you don't really like super huge open world games and you can kind of be anything you want, like when you're going into it, I heard you just have to like look at it as like you're gonna have like your own experience in the game rather than like playing the game just to beat it. You have to like look at it as like you're going in to just like have your own story, which I think is really cool. And a lot of people really like that, and then there's some people that don't like that, which would probably be me. That's why it doesn't really appeal to me too much. Like maybe when it goes on sale, I'll buy it and play it, but it definitely does make me want to try out some of those Dark Souls.
Yeah, I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order, which I guess, I mean, I never really watched any of that. Is so in Dark Souls games and stuff, right? You like save at bonfires, right?
Correct. Yes.
So,
yes.
And you go whoever you died to, and you go and fight them or kill them again. You like get all your souls back. And that's I don't know. So again, I haven't watched much Elden Ring. I assume it's something along the same lines. Anyways, that's how the same thing goes in Jedi Fallen Order. So I didn't even realize that. And so as I started playing that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I kind of like that concept. So maybe this will get me. I might buy this game, and because I had never ever touched a Dark Souls game, a Souls game, and I never watched it. I watched a little bit, enough to know like kind of how it is. But yeah, I've never really played any sort of game that like is that, I guess, challenging. There's no difficulty, right? It's just like there's no difficulty slider. It's just this is the game. Go have fun, or go.
Yeah, I think so.
They're challenging.
Yeah, so they're just challenging games that are you die, you don't get to come back to where you were in the sense of just resetting like a minute past. Right. So with what I've been playing with the Fallen Order, I have kind of taken a liking to that style of game, where it is more challenging. Because that's one of the things is I'll play a game on like super hard difficulty, and I'm just like, oh no, I died. Guess I'll just do it again.
Right.
it
Yeah.
just like instantly reset over. But it's just you actually have to be very careful with that shit.
Yep.
No, and I think what has been cool to watch, and we've kind of touched on this, is that I don't think there is a difficulty slider, and I think it's really cool to see people that you're used to watching on Twitch who are just super good at games and they just coast through anything. It's been fun to watch people struggle with it because I know if I played this game, and I may end up getting roped into it by my teammate, but I know if I played it, I would struggle with it. But it's great to see that like even these guys who play video games for a living are having a tough time, and it's just I don't know. I've very much enjoyed the gameplay. I didn't personally think I was going to be interested in it when I first heard about it, and kind of had people talking to me about what it was. But through watching gameplay, it seems, and now that other people have had the chance to play it and kind of tell me an actual review of it rather than just telling me what it's going to be, it seems very enticing, and I think that I may have to try it, and we'll see where it goes. But I'm with you, Walker. I haven't really played a game, like I said, seriously played a game in that genre before,
Yeah, I mean
and
it's its own
it looks
entirely its own thing.
it's enticing. It's something that I think I may want to get into.
Have you guys played Sekiro?
No.
What was that?
Sekiro?
Shadows
Oh
Die
yeah,
Twice.
no, I haven't played that one, but that one was also something that it's Dark Souls esque, right?
Yeah, people say that that has like probably one of the best combat
Let's say
systems
another
out
combat
of any
is
of
really
those
good.
games. But it's not as like it's definitely you follow
It's-
like a specific story.
And
But
isn't it
people
more
say that
forgiving?
the combat, I don't
Or
know.
is it not? I mean,
that
I
I'm
haven't
not
watched
sure
any
about.
of it, so well.
But people
Regardless.
just say like that it's very that combat experience is like one of the best in this style of game. So that makes me want to try that out too because my roommate has played Sekiro and he really enjoyed it. So it makes me want to try it, and it's on my shared library, so I can just play it whenever I want.
So funny
Cool.
story actually about that is, I was I think we were at Walmart one time like grocery shopping, and I wanted to play Sekiro, and I got it confused with Ghost of Tsushima, because I couldn't remember. Like I don't think I knew the name of the game. I just knew it was like a samurai game, and yeah. So I saw Ghost of Tsushima in the store. I was like, oh, like it was on sale. I was like,
Tsushima,
perfect.
bro.
I was like, perfect. I'll get this. I'll try it.
What
Like,
even was that game?
Ghost of
I don't know,
Tsushima.
dude.
Wait, I'm looking it up.
Tsushima was a almost like Red Dead Redemption style samurai.
Oh
game.
yeah. I think I
Yeah.
watched some people play
It's
it.
really good. I'm honestly glad I made that mistake because I don't think I would have tried that game without accidentally buying it, thinking it was Sekiro. But it's really enjoyable. I think the combat in that game is really fun too, because you have to change like your stances or whatever depending on the type of enemy you're fighting. But I think it's really cool, and there's definitely I think it's a really good game. So I'm glad I accidentally bought it. But I just thought it was funny
Well-
that I meant to buy Sekiro and bought Ghost of Tsushima.
Mhm.
Speaking of games, the biggest game library on your PC, Steam, the Steam Deck. That's out.
Yep.
And
our-
you can actually play Elden Ring.
You can
on it,
also
too.
play Counter-Strike. I saw someone playing
Nice.
Counter-Strike on it. It doesn't look fun. It looks like you're playing on a controller, but you do have a trackpad. Regardless, so
Yeah.
that's come out. What I'm going to kick off with is, surprisingly, we are on topic with this. Steam Valve, Gabe Newell, Lord Gaben, has said that he would welcome the Xbox Game Pass service to Steam should Microsoft want to put it on, make it available via Steam. So that is a thing that has come out today. So as of February 28th. So that would be very interesting because it's not like it's hard to access it because I'm on Windows, so I can just go to the like Windows Xbox Marketplace. Not that hard,
Yeah.
but it would be. It's just the ease of accessibility, having it just straight on Steam. And I don't know anyone, or I guess I do know someone that has the Steam Deck. However, they are not here at the moment.
Wait, did Chris? So that's actually Chris.
I think that's Chris's. I think Chris, unless it's
Does he
something
have a
else.
Switch?
But
Does he have a Switch?
I don't
what
know,
do you call
bro.
it, OLED?
I know he
I
has
don't know,
a
but
Switch.
yeah,
But
it
anyways,
looks pretty big.
It's big. Well, but okay, so yeah, so there's a picture we're
Conquer.
looking at, comparing it to the Switch. I guess that's the OLED one. It
Yep.
looks big, but if you look at it, it's not that much bigger.
Yeah, it's
Look
not
at,
like a
looking
problem.
look where the
or
screen
anything.
look where the screens are. It's a bigger screen, but it's not that much bigger. It's just that the side is the controller parts are bigger.
And I think we'll have to throw this picture up for the podcast. But looking at the Steam Deck versus the Switch, I do enjoy the Steam Deck having those wider, larger kind of controllers. I haven't played too much of the Switch on
Well-
like handheld like that, but I feel like those controllers are a little small
for
and-
handheld.
Yeah.
Well,
for handheld gaming. Yeah, for like the handheld when you're holding the device. And I think the Steam Deck, it looks like it would at least fit my hands better, and I would enjoy using that rather than the smaller Switch.
Yeah, and they have like the paddle things in the back too, or like I don't know if it's paddles, but I think buttons on the back.
button.
that
I
you
was
can,
to say they're like triggers
touch
and
with you.
bumpers.
Yeah.
So there seems to be. I'm just scanning through this right now because I didn't really look, but it seems that battery life, as is with any handheld device, battery life is a significant problem. And I would assume that it probably doesn't run anything better than what I mean. I haven't looked, but I would say 30 to 60 would be between that would be where you're looking at most games, which as a handheld isn't too bad.
Yeah, it says battery life is a significant problem. Uncapping the frame rate, turning up brightness or volume, or otherwise taxing the system moves it into the space of fewer than 2 hours of playtime. And I mean that's pretty understandable. Like if you want to like get more out of it, you're obviously not gonna have a long battery life. And that's
Also-
the same thing with the Switch too. Like the Switch doesn't really have a good battery life.
But I don't. I
Um,
mean, I think it's all right. I mean, dude, nothing
it's
will ever
decent,
beat
but-
nothing will ever beat the DS battery. I could probably go find mine and boot it up.
Yeah.
It's still
Um,
charged.
But one thing that was always apparent was the storage, because
Yeah.
we know that
Mhm.
like games, specifically, I brought up Call of Duty. That thing does not fit on a 256 gigabyte SSD. The cheapest Steam Deck is 64 gigs. The most expensive is 512. And it's not like a major price. To be honest, the difference in the pricing is reasonable given that the difference in storage you can have. But the cheapest one is 64 gigs, which means you can get, depending on the type of games you play, you could get maybe 6 games on there, like max.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, I don't.
It just
First-
depends again on the games that you're trying to play mobily. I think
Yeah,
that it's got it, as bad as it sounds. You don't want to have to be strategic in the games you download on a system, but I think games that would be fun mobile would kind of be okay. I think like Stardew Valley, that's a small game.
Yeah, well, it's not about small games. It's games that you would play on the go, like Stardew Valley.
Right.
And I think most of the games that people are going to be playing are going to be those single player titles. Like I really don't think
I
a
don't
lot of
see-
people are going to be playing multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like because even
Brawlhalla.
Dark Souls, Elden Ring, all those games will be perfect on this. That'd be well. I don't know about.
I don't know about. I
graphics-wise,
don't
but
think they have the,
but I
the
think-
storage capability. Well, one of them probably, but
it just depends on.
I probably
which
wouldn't play a game like
specifically,
that
but-
on this handheld. Yeah, no, smaller games like I can't think because I don't play games like that. So yeah, I guess Brawlhalla if you're a weirdo who plays. Not if you don't play Smash. Although to be fair,
Be
it's
careful!
Not on the
Be careful!
PC.
There's a big Brawlhalla
Hey, bro,
audience.
absolutely come at us. I don't care.
I enjoyed Brawlhalla when I
No,
played
it's
it.
fine. It's just I don't really care. It's a fun game, whatever. Like Gary's mod, you could play on there. I could see, although on controller, yeah, why not? I don't know. I'm just trying to go over games that I have that I could, like Castle Crashers. Absolutely,
That'd be
perfect.
good.
That's a
That'd be
perfect
great.
game. Especially you're gonna want to look at titles that come from controllers, like a PlayStation, Xbox games, like exactly what Castle Crashers is.
Castle Crashers.
You could maybe do a Destiny. I don't know how big Destiny is. If you get like the 500 gigabyte version, you could definitely get like a Destiny. Some of the older Fallout games. Yeah, single players is where I would go towards, because I don't really want to play any sort of online game, because it's like I'm going somewhere with this, so that's the main point of it being handheld is you can go away from your house, and I don't really want to try too hard when I'm not. I mean, you could play Halo
Rocket
for all
League.
you want.
Rocket League.
You could play
Just
Rocket
keep those
League.
settings down, or your battery life will last only like 2 hours.
Wait, Chris, so is that your Steam
Ranch
Deck,
Simulator.
or
Yeah,
is
that's
this
a
just
great-
a picture?
I wish.
Did you?
Okay, yeah, I just got
I didn't know if you
confused
bought
because
one.
I was like, that looks like someone, or it just looked like your picture. Okay, well, I lied.
Funny
He
enough,
doesn't
that
have
does
one.
kind of look like my desk too.
Yeah, I mean, I
About
don't-
it.
Yeah.
Hitman
But,
would be fun. I'm still on this.
I don't know.
by the
Have
way.
you?
I'm
Have
just
you?
looking
So
through my
we've kind of gone
library.
over this, but like, have you heard or seen anything outside of like the battery issues with this thing and
Not-
storage?
Yeah, like it's mostly coming down to like the compatibility aspect of it. So I think
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
what it
kind of-
said. Like I'll let you take back over, but it said there were some games that didn't really have good compatibility.
Yeah. Have you guys ever used the Steam Link at all? Like that little device where you can basically stream your game to like a TV that's connected to your like internet?
I have
No.
not, but my roommate has.
So your roommate probably has experienced the same thing I have, where you can run any game through a stream, but sometimes it gets a little wonky because usually you're out of range for you to be able to use any kind of device like peripheral that's connected to your desktop or linked via a controller. So then you have to do it like through the Steam Link, like either connect your keyboard and mouse or use your controller. Sometimes it gets really wonky. Like unless they've really optimized, I guess, their game for you to do that, it can struggle a little bit. So I think a good example would be like Fallout. That is a game that if you had any bit of lag or like issues with like the controls, it can be a little irritating because it's a little bit more real time. That is fully optimized, at least it was for the Steam Link. So for the Steam Deck, I think that transfers over pretty well. But then I would try to play games like, and mind you, this wasn't through Steam. I would try to do like some of the free Epic games that I would get. Like they had the promo for Just Cause 3 or Just Cause 4 actually, and that thing didn't know how to map my keys at all. So I'm guessing that's kind of like what they have with some of these games where it's just like, oh, we were not optimized to like be able to play on a controller. So you're gonna have some real bad issues if that's the case, or maybe some of like the mobile like optimization for like the performance factor. So I haven't looked too much outside of that in regards to like any cons with the Steam Deck. I think some of the ergonomics, like kind of where the controllers are. I feel like if you have smaller fingers like myself, you're not going to have as bad of a time. But the same issues with the Switch, right? Like they're harder to kind of click properly if you're not too acclimated to touching smaller buttons.
Say it is a little weird that they placed both the D-pad and the buttons directly to the right and left of the analog sticks, as every other controller, PlayStation, Xbox, is always off put somehow, either slightly up, vertical, or like diagonal, just not directly to the right of.
I guess
Little
my guess
weird.
of that was that like your hands.
It's because
Your
they have the
hands naturally-
trackpads underneath. That's the other thing. They need room
Well,
for that.
For me, when I'm holding my Switch, like if I'm sitting there holding the Switch playing for a long time, my thumb going. So you know how the right controller has the buttons. You can see it in the picture. The right controller
buttons
has
down.
the
Top.
4 buttons above the analog stick, and that is actually super uncomfortable for me because holding your thumb down, like on that, will like actually like hurt my thumb after I play for like a couple hours or something, like holding
Well, you
it.
shouldn't be playing
Um,
for a couple hours then.
True, but if you're grinding, if you're grinding
Yeah.
some Zelda,
You gotta
Game
grind.
grinding.
Grinders got to grind.
But yeah,
Alright,
I think
yes.
I would actually really like that, having the analog stick and buttons right there because I don't know, it just seems a little bit more comfortable rather than like having to move your thumb down and I don't know. It's just for me personally that would probably be better.
So we know the next step. We all have to get Steam Decks, play it, and come back and have an actual review.
That's right. We gotta have our own TKT review.
I know if I buy one, I will not use it.
I probably no, I don't.
I'm not on the. Actually, you know what? It would be great. I have spring break coming up and we're going on a trip for lacrosse and traveling around, and I'm going to be on a bus a lot. That'd be fun.
Well,
that would be really fun if
a
you
little
could
too
just
late
get some
now,
cool
but
Steam games.
Anyone else have any? I'd say I don't know. I think they're probably on back order for a while.
Yeah. So one thing I want to talk about. No, I think I want to talk about something that makes me angry.
Oh no.
Master Chief.
Oh no.
So I was already pissed about this series because they're trying to do their own thing. You know, I say I'm upset now. I'm still maybe going to try and watch it. And I feel like hopefully they will make some kind of a good storyline out of this. But it angers me that they think that they're better than the Halo franchise and they're creating their own storyline. And maybe I haven't read into it. Maybe they're going off of like the comics or something related to Halo, and they're just pulling a different storyline that's not directly the video game. But I would have liked to see that. And now,
wait, so I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, wait, about what?
Like, can you explain? Like, so it's
the not. Show,
it
like, follows nothing.
Different?
It follows nothing.
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't
sure. It doesn't follow
about
any of the actual story that we've seen so far throughout the games.
So yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's from like the comics because I don't know how big the comic was. I know there were books and comics about it. Maybe they're following one of those storylines. Does that mean
this doesn't count as canon then to like say the game franchises?
Anything canon just comes directly, I guess now, from 343 or Bungie.
But anyways, they made me upset with that first. Then they made me upset because it's only on Paramount. Now they're pissing me off even more because they're going to show Master Chief's face. And I get some people, I get some people are on the side of they want to see his face. And at one point, I was also like, I want to see his face. But I think that is part of the magic of Halo. So you don't see his face. You don't know what John looks like. You don't know what the Master Chief looks like. Maybe he's ugly as shit.
Is that what his name is? John?
Okay. John.
Hold on.
Why didn't I know that?
Maybe
I was about to say John.
Maybe he's a Giga Chad.
117, bro.
Maybe he's a Giga Chad. Maybe he's ugly as shit. But it's up to the player to decide what he looks like, and I think that's the magic of it. I think
there's no way he's not.
If you want to make Master Chief look exactly like you in your head, done.
You can. Yeah,
if you want to make Master Chief look like some friggin' sex icon, done. If you want to make him look like a deformed, mutated human, done. But
yeah,
you made a distinction where you can't be a sex idol, ugly as hell, and me. I disagree on that.
Or yeah, if you want him to be all in one, then you can be all in one.
So wait,
but I think putting a face on Master Chief is the wrong move.
It's 343, right? They're the
current developers.
Yeah. So they're like the ones that are also they are involved with the show, so they are like saying, "Yeah, go ahead."
I'm surprised they'd write off on that.
Well, they weren't the ones that came up with the idea of not showing Master Chief's face. That was a Bungie thing.
That was so, and speaking of which.
But the fact that they're allowing them to say, okay, let's put a face on him.
Because 343 doesn't give a shit because they had nothing to do with Master Chief not showing his face for the first 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, 343, like, I feel like they've tried to embody, like, what kind of was, especially in this last game iteration, kind of like what made Halo great. And one would think, like, oh, part of it was great is exactly what Carson just said. Like, you know, this universal mystery man where you get to kind of have at least one element that you get to make up for him, and that's what's under that helmet, and now we kind of lose that.
But as you're saying, the people who don't like that idea are the original composers for Microsoft's Halo franchise, who are suing the company for basically a bunch of shit. But
hell yeah,
that could in fact make this whole Paramount thing go away. The lawsuit brings in 6 faults against Microsoft. breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty to develop the royalty income in a joint venture, breach of duty to act in good faith and fair dealing, failure to provide an uncounting partnership, unjust enrichment, and fortuitous interference. So
Hell
I
yeah.
just saw this in the midst of the other article, but I don't know how
I'm
much this has
all
to
on
do.
that.
I don't know how much this has to do with
The face reveal.
the face reveal, but it would in fact
All of it. It's
halt
all. This
the
is all based on the face reveal.
yeah. But
I hope so. That's
there's
so the things that I've talked about that angered me about, not being on the same storyline and only on Paramount Plus. Those are things that like I'm gonna be like I'm a little upset about, but like in the end, I'd still watch the show and hopefully they don't fuck it up so bad that I won't enjoy it. Like maybe I'll still get some enjoyment out of it because I love Halo and Halo content. But I'm 100% serious in this. I genuinely might not watch it, and I feel like there's a large part of the community that genuinely just wouldn't watch it because of the face reveal.
Because of the face reveal, they
Like
want
that-
to keep that mystery.
Yeah, as
I
silly as that might sound to some people,
Well,
like that
to
is
be honest though, but like a good example is like to that is the Mandalorian. So spoiler, if you have not watched season 1 of the Mandalorian yet, there is a face reveal of like quote unquote the Mandalorian, the main protagonist in the series.
Oh
And
yeah, I forgot about that.
now, granted, he looks beautiful. Would
Does.
not
Well,
like replace how he
That
is.
didn't bother me as
but it's
much.
not.
No.
Yeah. So the only issue was that was the Mandalorian thing, is to not take your helmet off. Whereas this is literally, there have been 4, 5, 6 games in which Master Chief has appeared and never shown his face.
But
This
again-
is a
but
and he's
again,
not. And
like,
he's
it's-
not the
it's-
only
I'm-
Spartan that does that, though.
Exactly.
Or he is
Well,
the only Spartan that does
yeah,
that.
he's
Other
the Spartan
Spartans
that we
all show
see.
their faces.
But again, my
It's just
comparison
him.
is I had this illusion of like what he looked like under the
Okay,
helmet
okay.
for like 6
Okay,
episodes.
yeah.
I had this understanding of like, it's the exact same reason Carson's like upset with this is like he got to have his imagination run wild with it. Carson's actually under the helmet. I'm under the helmet, and then yeah, it's just that idea that you kind of lose that universal embodiment of this character. It just becomes now a character.
One thing I will say against that, though, is that this is more of a. Whereas I completely respect your opinion on it, but 6 episodes is not 20 years.
Well,
That's
again,
the
it's
main.
still-
No. I know.
it's
I'm saying
still building-
I'm just trying to compare apples to oranges here. Is that
I'm saying it's apples to apples.
okay? Well, if it's apples to apples,
And one thing I want to
Look,
point out
it's
too is
6 episodes, 20 years.
the one thing I want to point out to that too is, I also want to make it clear that I like your point. I like what Chris is saying. I
Oh yeah,
really
it's
do.
a good point.
But but what I wanted to point out is in like with Halo, Bungie like actually released a statement like we're not going to show his face because of the reasons that I was talking about. Like that was one of their things behind making the game and making Master Chief never show his face is like we want the player to create what Master Chief looks like. And that was like that was a big thing because some people wanted to see his face. There was a big discussion and like it was a thing with Halo and with Bungie, and they actually like made a statement like, no, we're not showing his face because of this reason. Whereas Mandalorian, it was they never really said that. It was part of the
You
show.
guys are reading too much into
No,
my
I
opinion
know.
here.
No, that's how strongly we feel.
I completely see what you're saying. I just wanted to make a clear distinction, but I completely see what you're saying.
Again,
I just
it's not the intent of what the company was saying, which was what my point, what you're trying to think my point is. My point is saying like I had this like thought of like this great character that I just got to imagine,
Yeah.
and then that face reveal like basically took that away from me, and that's like similar to
correct.
how this face reveal is doing. Like that's
Correct.
the only thing I'm saying. What my opinion is to, not necessarily like the developer did like Lucas Art Films did this and now I'm mad at them. It just like was something that like disappointed me. I'm glad that they can do what they are allowed to do. But yeah, it's disappointing that like, and that's even more of the point to like this is like, not only is this disappointing to me, just like how Mandalorian was, but even more so what you guys are saying, like Bungie originally made it so that you would not have that. So you had this like, not only do you not want that to happen, but you had this expectation that it wasn't going to happen. And so now that it's going against that, it's like, yeah, double slap in the face for what's going on here. So Yeah, shame on you, 343 Microsoft.
Thank you guys for letting me get my anger out on that. But I do have to. I have to run. And have a great rest of the podcast, boys. Good talks, and we'll catch you later.
Goodbye.
Love you.
Love you guys.
All right, what
All right,
else?
now-
What else do we have here?
I
could,
think that's it for the major talking points.
Well, I just wanted to talk about Giga Chat.
Giga
yeah.
Chad?
Because whenever I picture, Master Chef,
Well, you can see who
I
you can see who the man behind the mask is.
yeah, it's definitely the guy from the meme. It's definitely that's what he looks like.
That's him.
That is
absolutely-
Master Chef.
No, I mean, did you look at the picture of the guy who's playing him?
No,
And also, actually, this is actually another
But
point.
this is
well,
him.
you can look it up. It's absolutely not. So the thing is, though, another reasoning behind this is kind of like, Master Chief, right? Iconic voice. Well, when you take the helmet off him, you have to put it's like a Darth Vader situation. You can put someone else's voice behind the guy who's inside the suit, right? That's what they did, but you can't do that here because you're going to show his face, which means, well, now that guy has to be the thing. So they're fucking two things up: the voice and the face. That's
they'll dub the voice over him. It's
That
gonna
would
be, it's
be-
just it's gonna be Halo anime.
yeah. So the big issue it has to do with the music for the original
Yes.
creators of the show. But
hmm
the thing is that this would impede or could impede on the show releasing at all, if delayed or just releasing at all entirely.
Yep.
that-
Speaking of delayed, Stalker 2. That's probably.
Yeah, Stalker 2 is not looking too promising for the release, but I don't know if they put out a statement at all.
I haven't been keeping up on that, but
Me neither.
yeah, I would
But,
assume at this point it's going to be delayed. I mean, it was already delayed until then, so maybe they'll settle things down over there. But okay, I just lost the picture of the guy's face.
Well, to end it off, we could just do a quick media consumption. Just talk about what we've been doing.
Yeah.
I know you'll be happy with
Well,
my
that's
media
the guy.
consumption, Josh.
Oh,
So I finally did it. After weeks of telling me I need to play this game, I finally downloaded Lost Ark and made it back into the realm of the MMORPG lands. Very very refreshing. Nice to come back into it.
so how is it going? Have you only played once, or
Let's check Steam right now. It's
Say
been
he's
more than
like
once.
level 13.
I am almost 6 hours into the game.
okay?
And I think I've started to see kind of the appeal that you're talking about.
Mhm.
I feel like the first 2 hours is kind of a grind. You kind of have to which for me is good because not playing really any form of MMORPG, this was kind of a good way for me to get my feet wet once again. And I personally really like that isometric view for this format of game. It's very much up my alley because I played like a little bit of League of Legends, so that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. And man, goodness, the environments are just stunning to kind of look at in the backgrounds of the action that's going on. It doesn't come without some of my complaints with it. For instance, the voiceover is horrendous.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Ugh.
It's pretty
So-
bad.
You're walking through villages and every NPC will try to talk to you, except you've walked past them a dozen times and they keep saying the same stupid shit. So I found the setting to turn that off and
Yep.
boom, the game got 10 times better.
Yeah, that does get really annoying.
Funny enough, another thing which again I don't think is going to be too big of a problem with my retention to playing this game is story. So I'm on Reddit right before the pod here, and ask Reddit, someone posts, what's a game that you should definitely play even though you will not care one bit about the story? And third top comment was Lost Ark.
Yeah, definitely. Lost Ark is definitely one of those MMOs that the story isn't great. It's there, it's a story, but not too many people really care about it, and it is not anything amazing. The one MMO that everyone people will like kill you if you don't keep track of the story in Final Fantasy. Because that game is like everyone loves that story so much, and if you just like skip it, people will get so mad at you.
I thought the story was just big booba, big anime booba.
Well,
Basically,
kind of,
yeah,
yeah.
almost
Oh,
is.
okay. Well then,
But there actually is like elements where like people I haven't experienced it personally, but people are like, yeah, like I legit cried during the story
okay.
in this
Well,
game.
hold on now.
So like there actually is like a whole like story and like lore behind everything, and you actually like want to keep track of it while you're playing. Whereas Lost Ark is more of a game kind of like WoW, I guess, like where
RuneScape.
people didn't really care too much.
Yeah, it
But
definitely
WoW
feels
does
like,
have a lot of lore, though. I don't know.
and I think people even said like I can't remember the name of it, but there was like a Warcraft movie that came out, and apparently that plot actually held up pretty darn well. But that's
Yeah.
not like, for me, that I really don't need that in this game. It's more of just like going to the mission. It's like, I need this guy to be alerted about this enemy coming. It's like, okay, cool. And you quickly scroll through that, see how much you can actually read through it while like mass clicking, and then go do
Yeah.
that thing.
Spamming that shit.
Yeah, like some of the layers and the like larger boss battles, if that's the proper term for it.
Yeah, it's dungeons.
Yeah, those are very engaging, and like most of what I've played so far, pretty straightforward, nothing too complex, and I'm starting to kind of get the hang of like the different abilities and kind of what works best in certain situations. And I can see how it can really escalate in difficulty in just a matter of time. So I'm pretty excited if we continue on with it to finally get a group together and start trying to slay some of those bigger baddies. But that has been, yeah, a good bit of fun and kind of a refreshing game for me to play. Have you still been doing that, Josh?
Yeah, so this week, I played what I could of Lost Ark. I was actually really busy, or well, last week, but I was super busy last week with planning um, some big parties or a big party and stuff. So I couldn't play it as much, but I did play a bit, and I'm now like right at the edge of getting to the end game. I'm level 47 or 48, and end game
Oh man.
basically it starts once you get to level 50. So I'm right there, and I'm super excited to like start doing all of the end game stuff. And I'll have to like let you know how that goes. But this game is gonna get you're gonna get confused. Like you're gonna like click a button, and then some menu is gonna pop up, and you're gonna be like, "What is this?" And it's just like a whole new system, like
Oh my
that you
God.
have to like
Tell me
learn.
about it.
But people are saying like once you kind of get an idea of what's going on, it gets a lot less overwhelming, and then you kind of know what you have to do. You get on track. You kind of get into a schedule. It's definitely a grindy game. It's a super grindy game. But that's what like the big appeal is of it, is trying to get the best gear, do the best things. And then besides that, I've been mostly keeping track of what's been happening overseas, and then I also started watching Band of Brothers again.
Oh yeah.
Great old series. I watched like the first episode last night again, and I still can't believe that's like a 2001 movie series. I guess I would say. Well, not movie, but a show where each episode is like a movie. But I'm so surprised with how well produced that show was for being 2001.
Yeah, I grew up with Saving Private Ryan, which came out in
Yep.
'98, and so like to have that quality, like you said, it is not necessarily a movie production, but it is basically produced like a movie. To have that kind of caliber and it being, it's not, in my opinion, up to the Saving Private Ryan standard, but it is
Yeah.
pretty damn close. And yeah, I actually dropped off on it halfway through, and you're making me want to like take another look at it, because all the training boot camp stuff before they get deployed, just so good. So
Yeah, it's really good. And what I really like about it too is how they have like the actual guys who are like they're telling the story about they're in the beginning of every episode, kind of talking about their experience in World War II, and how difficult it was, and
Yeah.
the stuff they had to deal with, like going into D-Day, and it's really interesting to just hear that stuff because we'll never experience anything like that in our lives, and it's just really crazy to know that people like our age had to go through that. But
Absolutely
yeah,
nuts.
but that's what I've been
Very
doing.
cool.
Walker.
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, I was playing the Jedi Fallen Order game.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I've been doing that on stream actually. And that's it's a pretty good game. I mean, the main thing that drawed me to the play, well, it was free. But the main thing that drew me into playing is just it's a Star Wars game, and I haven't played any Star Wars that style of a Star Wars game since probably The Force Unleashed
Mm-hmm.
back in
Dude, that was
8,
so
9,
good.
10,
Yeah,
10 years
yeah.
ago at this point.
I
Yeah.
was super young when I played that, but
Yeah.
dude, I have such good
That
memories
was
from
such a
playing
good
that
game.
game.
So that was like the main thing. Like I wanted in a game like that. Also, because I get to customize my lightsaber, which I also thought was pretty cool.
That's actually sick. I didn't know you could
and
do that.
well, in a sense, like you find parts to customize
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
you still
That's
get to
cool.
customize it. And I'd be sailing the high seas again. Playing some Sea of Thieves.
Oh
Man,
yeah.
what a week you've had.
I know. What else?
Sea
What
Thieves
else?
is such
What
a
else?
good
That's
game.
it. Yeah, no. I
Have
played.
you not played shoot, what is it?
Lost
Fallen
Ark?
Order? Is that what you're
Fallen Order.
is that the Star Wars game called?
Yeah.
So you've never played that, Josh?
No, I have not.
Man, that's
The new
like,
one, no.
I think just off Walker's review, I think that if you have so much nostalgia for Force Unleashed, I've heard that is like
It's a
one of
pretty.
the best single player.
It's definitely not that game. It's not the Force Unleashed, because given that you're not, I forget. So he was Starkiller was like a neutral kind of. He
Yeah,
used
I
both.
heard-
He
yeah,
used
he
both
was
sides
like
of the
a-
Force.
He was Darth Vader's apprentice, but then
Yeah,
gone
but then
like kind of good.
He went more neutral. He was kind of a new. He used both sides of the Force though. So like you had
Yeah.
because you had lightning and shit like that.
Mhm.
And you
That
could
game was
force
so
choke
cool.
people. So that was really this one. You are a Jedi, so you don't get to all the cool things. But it's
a single
fun
player
game.
match.
Yeah,
or,
it's a
like,
it's yes.
format.
The style of the game is very similar to that. So it's a pretty good
Yeah.
game. Like I picked it up when it was free. So I've been enjoying that. But with the Sea of Thieves, we raided there was a guy who was like unloading all this shit, and he was a solo, and it took me and it was four of us, and it took us probably like 20 to 30 minutes to unload everything that he had loaded on his ship that he was going
Oh
to be
my
doing
gosh.
by himself. And so after we shot down his boat, he goes, "Thanks guys, I really appreciate that. It's a load off for me, because he would have been there for like an hour unloading all of it.
Yeah.
There's no way."
Win-win scenario.
Dude,
Yeah, that was
some
like
of the
a-
best like fun YouTube videos to watch is Summit doing the Athena chess steals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he has like where they'll literally tuck in these dudes' boats for hours and just wait for them to like finally like get whatever chest or like, and then they like go through all these different complications and stuff. Those are fun videos to watch. Sea of Thieves just has so much stuff you can do and just play styles.
Oh, we have
Yeah.
so many games to play.
Yeah.
Gotta pick one.
Ranch.
Finally, Lost
That
Ark
was
and
it.
Halo.
Oh,
Finally,
we gotta wait for Ranch, because there's a major update coming out in like a month or something.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Makes like the game actually playable and fun.
Did you finish your Tenrai event, Walker?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
Halo?
the Halo, yeah.
I grinded through the last bit for that withered rose color.
Oh, I forgot to do that. I kind of forgot. Oh, wait, it ends.
There's
Doesn't
still
it
time.
End? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
you got
I can do it
like
today.
yeah,
Ends
15
it
hours
tomorrow
something like
at
that.
1 or 2. Yeah,
You got this. And it's the ultimate challenge is super easy. You just have to
it's just
complete
50
5 Fiesta.
or 5. I would say last time. Yeah, it's just when when an event's going on, it has to do with the event. And if it's
Mhm.
Fiesta event, it's probably just like the last one I did was like 50 kills in Fiesta, which is 2 games.
It was weird
3
though because it
games.
said complete, but I swear like I lost a couple games and it wouldn't show like completion for the
So
challenge.
that has been an issue, at least for me and Carson, where it's like complete. It was for us. It was what is it called? Free for all. Free for all was fucky like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's.
And I'm assuming the big team battles are back now and running
I
good.
think those are. I haven't tried, but they
Those-
did announce that they had sort of fixed the major
Yeah.
issue with the.
And I have played a few matches, and there might be more issues if you do it via group, but yeah, individual VTB play, very good. And they added a cancel function for matchmaking. So once you started
Oh,
matchmaking,
nice.
if you found a match, it wouldn't let you leave or like cancel the search. Now you actually have like a little button tab where on the bottom right hand corner you can click cancel, and you
Dude.
can stop that process.
I just wish you could edit your stuff while you're searching for a game.
Yo, maybe this
You
is
can.
a sign that it's finally coming.
Yeah, you can.
Wait, you can.
Yeah, you guys are
Did
just
they change it?
delusional. I don't know. No, literally
No,
when
you
you guys were
cannot.
talking,
You
about-
are no,
Yes,
no,
you
no,
can.
no, no, no.
Yes,
no,
you
you
can.
definitely cannot. I can
The
show.
armor you
I can.
cannot
No,
I
you
will-
can't change. Sorry, I was thinking about. I thought you were referring to being able to click anything.
No, you just
No,
can't
no,
equip
no, no.
it during the.
You
No, you
can't,
can't.
like,
You can't
change
change your
anything.
armor. Right, you can
Right,
do other things
that's-
outside of that.
But we
Right,
don't
sorry, I
care
got
about
it.
others. We want that equipment.
Well, you did because I
armor.
remember at a time you guys were complaining that you couldn't even look at your challenges, and then they fixed that. So
Yeah.
No, it's
Um,
mostly the equipment.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's mostly just,
that's
like,
not
on
even
the armor.
I see. The only thing I say about that is just like, what's the big deal with doing it before you switch?
Well,
I don't
I get
Well,
a
it's
new.
like when
I
you're
get
in
a
a
new armor
party,
piece.
I know.
When you're in
you
a
gotta
party and you
know.
want to change something, you gotta be like, "Hey guys, wait, I gotta change some stuff."
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. It's just like a.
it's a very
it's
small
not a
issue
huge
that
deal.
you're.
But
That's
that's just
the
like
problem,
a
is the fact that
huge
it's an
pet
issue.
peeve.
Like I've been
Well-
able to do that in Fortnite for 5 years now.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's just an
small.
issue that's not huge, but it's definitely a pet peeve for me
Right.
with that game.
Exactly. Anything else, Walker? Other stuff you've been doing?
Nope.
Sweet.
All right then.
I think we can call that a wrap.
Yep.
All right. Josh,
Bye
close us out.
everyone. I don't know. How do we do this?